Hello, Kokomi here, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Or just Diamond, depends on your preference really. Last time we explored the underground, and I did a terrible job explaining it, but hopefully I haven't actually edited the video yet, does a better job of explaining it. Today, well, we were told to stop by the cycle shop, and that's exactly what we'll do. Thanks for rescuing me. This is something to show my thanks. It's the latest model of my bicycle. You must take it, I insist. And with that, we have tamed the bicycle. It's the latest model, so read the operating manual. Press the B button to shift up or down. In third gear, you can't go all that fast, but it's easier to control. In fourth gear, it gets harder to steer and stop, but it's fast. Indeed, I would love to show off this bike. This is the item we've been waiting for, and I guess I should mention... Oh, right, I forgot to mention what Pokemon I caught off screen. Let's get outside first. Alright, so off screen, to the decks I have added, where is it? An Apom, and those eyes, it's kind of freaky, especially when it's shiny when it's like all pink. Honestly, it kind of freaks me out a little. It uses its tail to pluck fruit out of reach. Its tails are more adept than its real hands. I will go over Apom another time, as there are several other Pokemon I want to talk about this episode. So Apom's bio will probably be like next episode or something. And a Pokemon I've already given a bio on, wherever it may be, probably past it. I will find it. There. Oh, I passed it. I caught a Cherubi off screen. The small ball holds the nutrients needed for evolution. Apparently, it is very sweet and tasty. Just keep in mind that that sweet and tasty little ball has a face. I hope it's not sentient, because if it is, that is a terrifying implication. But yes, I believe I registered the bike. No, I did not. But if you didn't register the bike, if you ever see one of these, ta-da! So, excuse me. Oh wow, you got a bicycle. You can ride out cycling. Yep. He actually forces you? I didn't know that. Oh no, I need to get back to my Munchlax tree. Okay. So you can hear the and the sound effect going down to dinner is third gear, and it going up is fourth gear. Like the guy mentioned, you can see I'm in fourth gear at the moment. When I move around, you can still turn on a diamond stuff, but you can see if I let go of the D-pad like right now, I still move a little bit. So it's kind of like ice physics a little, but you're going really fast. Third gear is much slower. You stop on a dime, so it's much nicer for navigating tight places, and it's still like as fast as your running speed, I think, without having to hold B, so that's really nice. Yep, he just stops you. Okay, I did not know that. I know they wanted to really tell you to say, hey, go, you can use the bike now to get to Hearthstone, but still. Well, let's actually register the bike. And, well, let's head on. Should we keep walking this way? You will be forced on... I think in later games you'll be forced on your bike right here, but for now we'll just be forced on our bike the moment we step out of this. And, what's interesting is that this... Okay, well, we'll get to that in a second. Yo, having a good time cycling. And well, since we're on the subject of a battle, I'd like to showcase Ponyta's nickname. We're fighting a Staravia. Bo. The meaning of this nickname it'll be a bit before the meaning I'm gonna hold off a little bit on explaining the meaning. Let's just put it like that. It does have there is a reason I chose this nickname, and unfortunately it is erasing the... I forgot to turn battle animations back on because I was grinding. Right. I will go do that. Hey, not bad, you. I imagine he's trying to talk in like a rapper voice. Okay, so yeah, I'll tell you can't dismount your bike. Alright. Battle scene on. So if you noticed, I'm not holding any I'm not holding any buttons, and I'm automatically just going down. What the Gen 1 games have this too, where like you just automatically go down the cycling road, and I think the explanation is supposed to be is that this is actually a downhill chute, which so it's gravity just taking you along for the ride. But yeah, there's plenty of trainers to fight here. This is probably the most we'll ever see cyclists. Cyclists love to use flying and electric Pokemon. Hey, watch where you're going, or did you want to challenge me? Specifically, you'll often see them using the Starly line, Shinx line, and the Pikachu line. And the Ponyta line. I forgot they do use Ponytas on occasion. Right, I meant... Don't mind me, just definitely not keeping track of who Ponyta has defeated. In order to keep track of IVs. Definitely not. Or EVs, not IVs. Got a use for a hidden type ground there. This is why I really want to get on getting its special attack up. But just to show our superiority, we're going to stomp on this Ponyta. Assert your authority. Oh. Well, so while we're going through Cycling Road, I'd want to talk about the two fossil Pokemon. So the one that we can get in Pokemon Diamond is Cranidos. Cranidos is a pure rock Pokemon that evolves at level 30 into Rampardos. It is a glass cannon, 165 attack when it evolves as its base attack. That is huge, and I think and Ponyta leveled up. Bo leveled up, excuse me, I need to get used to referring to your nickname now. But yeah, Rampardos is a glass cannon. It's not even that fast either, and its defenses aren't that great, though Rock does let it resist quite a bit of things, but it's not the best defensive type out there. Really, that's the big thing. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get a shiny one, so I'd like to show the shiny on screen right now. I think Cranidos has a really cool shiny, too. So it's a shame. I mean, I could purposely just get as many fossils as I can and hunt them. And I did get some fossils from the underground and put them up in my bag off screen. So we will be able to revive a Cranidos this episode, as we are heading back towards Orbor. I believe this is Wildberry's first battle as a Roselia, by the way. The main memories I have of Rampardos is from the Pokemon spin-off Pokemon Ranger, Shadows of Almia, where Rampardos was a boss Pokemon that you had to capture, and I remember that gave me a lot of trouble. I remember Rampardos was one of the bosses that just gave me a lot of trouble, but I have not played Shadows of Almia in, like, years. So I don't know how I'd fare now if I were to go back to it. And I also remember it from the Pokemon anime, because I believe I also mentioned this during the Orbor City Gym battle. Rourke's Cranidos just evolves into Rampardos, and Ash's Pikachu had to square off with the Rampardos. So, fun stuff. Fun stuff. The other Pokemon, if you are playing Pokemon Pearl, you will get Shieldon, and I forgot about the even digit, odd digit thing, but hopefully I'll either put that on screen right now, or hopefully I talked about it last episode. It's actually been like a week or two since I recorded the last episode. Ooh, is that a crit? No, that's just how powerful Wildberry is. So Shieldon also evolves at level 30 into Bastiodon. The Shieldon in Bastiodon is a wall. Its defensive stats are huge, its attack and special attack are much lower. Its attack is a little higher than its special attack, but they're pretty much the same. It's slow as molasses, but it gets moves to complement it, like Gyro Ball and Payback, and heck, I think it can even learn Trick Room. But that's it. If it does, it learns it in the far future, and it's not worth. It is not worth it. I'm gonna switch in Brownie. So, really, yeah, Bastiodon, I wouldn't recommend it to a first-time player, but if you know how to play around with defensive stuff, especially Bastiodon's typing of Rock Steel, the Steel is a really good defensive typing, and keep that in mind. Steel is a good defensive typing. Just keep it away from fighting types. I used to think, oh, Bastiodon is terrible because it's quad weak to fighting, and my Infernape would always just close combat it to death. But Bastiodon can be really bulky in the right situations. It also likes to set up some status stuff. Or no, I'm reading about a Pokemon we're gonna talk about later. That is not, never mind, forget that part. I can't set up Stealth Rocks. My main memories of Shieldon are actually also from Pokemon Ranger Shadows of Almia. It was my friend's favorite partner Pokemon. He loved using Shieldon as his partner Pokemon. I believe you could, like, generate an Iron Ball and fling it at the opponent, and what it would do is, like, it would, slow them down. It would slow the Pokemon you're trying to catch down. I just realized that some of you guys may have never even played Pokemon Ranger, which basically you just try to catch Pokemon by drawing circles around them. So yeah, the Pokemon Ranger side games are really fun. Unfortunately, I lost my Shadows of Almia and my original Pokemon Ranger cart. But I still have my, the third Pokemon. There are only 3 Pokemon Ranger games. I have my third game card, but my DS has trouble reading it, which really sucks. I mean, I know there's always emulation and flashcards, and that's really going to be the way to play games in the future because Nintendo does a terrible job of preserving this sort of stuff, but... well, that's all I want to talk about for right now. There are 2 other Pokemon I want to talk about, but as you may have saw while we were in the overworld, there is grass below the cycling road, and in that grass are 2 new encounters. For Diamond, if you're playing Pearl, it's just 1 new encounter. But we'll talk about that when we reach the end of Cycling Road, as it feels weird to talk about it before we have access to it. I mean, I suppose I could slot an Apom here, but I didn't want to fill this episode with all just talking about random Pokemon bios. You remember when I said at the beginning of the series that I wasn't really going to give advice? I was just going to talk about my thoughts on the Pokemon, and then I ended up giving advice on the Pokemon anyways. Crash, Tinkle. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Ooh, Combee caught some honey. That's the main reason I have Combee, and thankfully I can actually, record episodes at night since I don't have to worry about that daytime friendship evolution with Wildberry. Yeah, so you can see sort of like the route below us. We'll be able to explore that like as soon as we're done with this. But just it's a nice little foreshadowing thing. A bicycle can only take you as far as your energy will allow. Well, I mean, yes, in real life, but this is Pokemon, where all you have to do is press a button. I've never really been much of a bicyclist. I actually rode I remember I rode a bicycle with training wheels. It wasn't a tricycle, it was a bicycle with training wheels when I was in preschool. And I fell off and scraped my knee really bad. And that was and you know, little kid, it wasn't that bad, but it was a scrape that took up almost my entire kneecap. And it was very red and bloody. And I have never been on a bicycle since. I know now that obviously it was just a little kid thing, but like throughout grade school, people say like, hey, let's like go get on a bicycle or something, or bicycle activity. I'm like, hell no. And honestly, it still does kind of send shivers to me now when I think about it. Traumatic childhood experiences includes falling off a bike and scraping your knee. That was a Staravia that Ponyta took out, or Bo took out, right? Just remembered I'm trying to keep track of everything. No, it was a Zubat. It was a Zubat. Wait, I don't even remember any of the cyclists ever using Zubats. So that is actually, well, I did say they favor the flying Pokemon, and Zubat would fit that. Yeah. Huh, none of these Shinx have have Intimidate. They both have Rivalry. This means that this Shinx would actually do more damage to my Ponyta. But it doesn't matter when it can't even do anything because it's dead. Or excuse me, this isn't a Nuzlocke, it's fainted. I remember when I was probably in like 7th grade or something. We were reading a book in class called The Hunger Games, which became really popular like probably a year or two after, or like a year or 2 or 3 after. I had to read it again in high school. And then but this is before it even got its movie adaptation, so I can say I read The Hunger Games before it was cool. But, so, I remember, so the whole point of Hunger Games, it's definitely not a story for, younger kids, as it involves, 24 teenagers all trying to kill each other. And it can get pretty brutal and savage at times. But we had like a program where, or not a program, we had like a day at school where the upper middle school, we'd go and talk to the lower elementary school kids. So we were talking to like some 4th graders, and we were talking about the Hunger Games. And so I just casually mentioned, like, yeah, they're fighting, they're to the death, and this other guy stopped me and goes, no, not to the death, they're just removed. And he's, like, just whispering to me, like, don't say that, they're just 4th graders. And I'm like, I knew what death was in 4th grade. Like, I don't think I know what death was, I don't think you can truly understand the impact of death until and this is gonna sound really morbid, and I don't mean this to say, I don't mean to come off as high and mighty. Yeah, at least I can speak from experience that I didn't truly understand the impact of death until I lost a family member. And I think that's going to be true of a lot of people, because it's the difference between just hearing about it and actually experiencing it. So on to happier topics, we're at the end of Cycling Road. Did Bo level up? No, Bo's still level 21. And I believe what's a bicycle without this? You have to have a flag. But it's a Pokemon accessory, it has nothing to do with your, it has absolutely nothing to do with your, whatchamacallit, with your bike. Raspberries, I believe, Pot, get the joke, raspberry. I believe they don't do anything but are a berry that's useful for something a little later. But if we come south, hello, Lucas. If you're playing Platinum, he won't intercept you until the end of this route, funny enough. So that's one thing Diamond and Pearl has. Me, I'm always doing great, I wish. That's a mood. Lucas, you are a mood right now. Oh, but that's not important. Lately, I've been experimenting with a couple of neat tools. It doesn't matter, and it does matter. I'll choose right. You want the Versus Seeker, yes. Of the 2 things he gives you, I would definitely take the Versus Seeker. The Versus Seeker is an item that wasn't actually introduced in this game. It was introduced in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then brought back for Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, and hasn't been brought back since, as of the time of this recording. Probably going to be in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but that hasn't been released as of the time of this recording. Using that Versus Seeker, you can find trainers who want to battle with you again. And yes, if you choose the left hand, he will give you this, the Dowsing Machine. So it just changes the order in which he gives you the stuff. The Dowsing Machine app locates unseeable items. The Dowsing Machine is, just try touching it. Just touch it. Touch the machine. Get to know the machine. I'm imagining that SpongeBob of like, you gotta feel the marble, taste the marble, date the marble, become the marble. So, what the Dowsing Machine does is that it helps you locate items. So, the Versus Seeker lets you rematch trainers. So, I'll show an example of it later. The Dowsing Machine, which has been a key item in previous generations, is now a Pokechap. You tap the screen, and you can see, oh hey, there's something here. I'll just put this, give it a focus for a second. And as you can see, you see these tick marks, like a grid. I step one over, it's one closer. Oh. I forgot to get that. So yes, this is basically the game itself is a grid. You walk like on a grid, and this essentially, you think of this as a grid. Oh, if it's in the center, that means you're standing on top of it. A revive. Yeah, and they're gonna purposely put stuff around the first time. I believe there is an instance where it won't show anything. Yeah, no, but it'll keep pulsing, but there's obviously a dot there. Ooh, okay, that's gonna be up there. But we're not gonna head that way, at least this episode. I'd want to save that for next episode. Should we heal? Nah. Now, we can cut. And we can explore the other half of this route that I totally don't remember the name of. Actually, I'm testing you guys. It's, Route 206. Yes, totally knew that. I was just testing you guys, just to make sure you knew which route we were on. So, Lower Route 206. If you're playing Pearl, there's one new encounter here. If you're playing Diamond, there's 2 new encounters. If you're playing Platinum, I don't remember what's here. So, let's get on with the first encounter, if it will actually... Oh, well, no. Well, Ponyta, hi. This is actually the first time I thought you could encounter Ponyta in Diamond and Pearl, which is why I was surprised about encountering Ponyta at the side of Eterna City. But, let's talk about the Diamond one first. So, if you're playing Diamond and only Diamond, this Pokemon does not appear in Platinum. It doesn't even appear in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. In Gen 4, this is the only way to get this Pokemon. In Diamond. It appears in other places. Is the Pokemon Stunky. Good timing! It is the Pokemon Stunky. Stunky is a Poison Dark type, which is an excellent defensive typing. Only weak to ground. And it'll evolve into Skuntank at level 34, true to it, which we seen Skuntank just a little while ago. True to its name, it becomes a tank. And but mainly an HP tank. Its defensive stats are actually only in the 60s, which isn't that great, but it has a high HP stat. It has a good attack in the 90s. It has an okay special attack in the 70s, and I'm talking about Final Evolution, but it's not worth writing home about. But Skuntank does learn moves like Flamethrower naturally, which I always thought was kind of interesting. It also learns Explosion. Yeah, Skunk, Explosion. Oh boy. Got a Super Repel. That is a repel, but lasts longer. And we have a trainer. Well, not before I get interrupted. Stunky can have one of two abilities, Stench or Aftermath. Stench has two effects. In battle, if you are faster than the opponent and make a contact with it, you have a chance of flinching the opponent. I believe that's how it works. I'm honestly not 100% sure, but I do know in the overworld, it actually decreases your chances of encountering Pokemon. I meant to read his text and I did not. The other ability Stunky can have is the ability Aftermath, which when you faint, if the Pokemon that attacked you made a direct contact move, KO'd you with a direct contact move, you will do damage to it after fainting. It's kind of a middle finger, and really works if you're just planning on sacking your Stunky or Skuntank. I don't really care for either ability as an ability, but I'd probably choose Stench if I had to choose one. And plus, it could make traveling through the overworld nicer. Something funny I found out when I looked up Skuntank is that its egg group, which we'll talk about egg groups down the road. It only has one egg group, and it's ground. It has nothing to do with the type it's weak to. It's more about its morphology and all of that, but still, I just think that's super funny that its only egg group is ground, and that's also its only weakness. Alright, so that leaves the other Pokemon we can find here is Bronzor. I've talked about it a bit. We can finally find it. I believe... I'm not sure about Platinum when it comes to Bronzor. But I'm not going to bother. Bronzor, also, it is a Steel type, so excellent defensive type. Steel Psychic, it is excellent typing, super slow. It has two weaknesses in fire and ground, but let's put a pin on that for a second. It evolves at level 33 into Bronzong. Its attack and special attack are about equal, but its attack is a little higher. Did I say that about Skuntank? I think I might have read off some of my Bronzor notes for Skuntank. I know... No, okay, never mind. I'm pretty sure what I said about Skuntank is its attack is like in the 90s versus its special attack in the 70s. Bronzor is like 80s to 70s attack, special attack difference. Or Bronzong. Bronzor is slow. You're not going to be moving before your opponent at all. But it's super defensive. Both its defense and special defense are really high. It naturally learns moves like Gyro Ball and Payback, and it can learn some status stuff like Heal Block, which prevents the opponent from healing, and Safeguard, which prevents, or Safeguard, which protects your entire team from status conditions for a few turns, provided you haven't been already inflicted with one. It can also learn some moves like, thank you, Cricketune, Future Sight. Bronzor and Bronzong are excellent Pokemon. Again, they're very defensive, so maybe not. If you like just hyper offensive, bulldozing through things, Bronzor might not necessarily be the Pokemon for you. Though, if you can get a Gyro Ball Bronzor setup going, that will work out for you. Which Gyro Ball is a move that the slower you are than your opponent, the more damage you will do. I believe it is. It's either that or if it's just if you move after the opponent, but I'm pretty sure it's actually based on the difference in speed stats. Bronzor and Bronzong do not have a gender, so I will not be able to get a shiny version of them with Macaroni, unfortunately. Which is a shame. I'll show their shinies on screen right now. Bronzor and Bronzong are just great stalled Pokemon. And about their weaknesses. Bronzor can have two abilities, Fireproof and Levitate. Fireproof does not make it immune to fire-type moves, like the name would suggest, but rather makes all fire moves count as neutral damage instead of super effective. Effectively giving it, yeah, it basically makes it so it doesn't take super effective damage from from fire. My mind just blinked there. Its other ability, Levitate, makes it immune to ground type moves. So what's interesting is that Bronzor basically has only one weakness at any given time, unless they're going against a Pokemon with like an ability suppressor, like Mold Breaker. God, I need to rehearse these more. One really interesting thing about Bronzor and Bronzong is if you read its Pearl and Platinum, it's all of its Gen 4 Dex entries except for Diamond. But also, of course, Kricketune had to chip in there. And it's mentioned in other stuff, like I know in Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, there's some random text that actually talks about it too. Bronzong is said to be known for opening up portals to another world that bring in rain, and is hailed as sort of a Pokemon that helps water crops and a sign of good harvest. So, and a really good strategy for Bronzong is to actually, God, why am I blanking out so much? A good strategy for Bronzong is to actually have it have the ability Levitate, teach it Rain Dance, or have someone else on your team have Rain Dance, which Rain powers up water moves and weakens fire moves. A Levitate Bronzor's only and Bronzong's only weakness is fire, but Rain weakens fire to the point where it's basically taking neutral damage, which means a Levitate Bronzong Rain Dance essentially has no weakness. And I don't know if it was intentional, but it's pretty interesting that the Dex brings that up, and that's actually a really good strategy to use with Bronzor and Bronzong. So I do want to catch a Stunky as per usual, and I do want to catch a Bronzor as well. So I'm going to be running around doing that. Also, my dog says hello if you can hear him. Stunky, it protects itself by spraying a noxious fluid from its rear. The stench lingers for 24 hours. It's a skunk. What did you expect? Alright, finally found a Bronzor in the wild. That took a long time. While I'm slapping this Bronzor, one other thing I did just remember is that Bronzor does learn Hypnosis at a pretty low level. So it would be really nice. It can be like a really nice Pokemon to help you catch other Pokemon, as it's pretty resilient, can take a lot of hits, and can put other Pokemon to sleep. And it also learns Confuse Ray, which is awful and horrible, and why would you do this? Well, I just YOLO balled that and caught it, because I didn't want to deal with confusion and sleep. Bronzor's data was added to the Pokedex. Implements shaped like it were discovered in ancient tombs. It is unknown if they are related. A lot of Bronzor and Bronzong's Pokedex entries often refer to its connection to the past. So that is a interesting point. I do want to see if there are any hidden items around here. Well, what do you know? Of course! Thank you, Kricketune, for your insightful commentary. Alright, I believe it was right next. Yes, alright. A potion. Always nice to have a little extra stuff. We got some berries over here. Frost berries, so those cure burn. Alright, I did want to discuss something, and that is my next team member. Very soon, but I want to add Stunky. I thought since I'm going to be playing through Diamond, I should use a Pokemon that is exclusive to Diamond. That really gave me the choice between Murkrow and Stunky, and I already decided pretty early on that I wanted to use Starly, since I really like the Starly line. So, honestly, I could have just gone with the double flying, because Honchkrow does also learn special attacks, and they can fulfill different roles, and I mean, Murkrow and Honchkrow shiny, just so fabulous. But I decided I wanted to use a Stunky. I haven't used a Stunky before in a run. Well, I have used a Murkrow in a run before. So I don't know if this will be the Stunky I am rolling with. I will show footage probably at the end of the episode of catching the Stunky I will be rolling with. But I did want to show catching footage of a Stunky, and I want to show the nickname I thought of for it. I'm sorry, you might not even be the final Stunky I go with, but for demonstrations, I would like to name you Apple. I hope I spelled that correctly. As you saw, its shiny is red, kind of like an apple, and I think it's a perfect nickname. Apple. Let's just say I think Apple is a perfect nickname. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Explores the Time Darks. What? I didn't say anything. Anyways, I'll meet you guys. Oh, hi, Geodude. Anyways, I'll meet you guys back in Orber City. Something I do have to mention is something I never quite understood is this right here. I never quite understood the existence of this. Oh, there is an item there. I could have swore there are other times where I played this game and there's just nothing here. It always just seemed like such an odd thing to me. So, once we get back onto Route 207, you can see that we're back where we couldn't get up the slope before. And if you're in 3rd gear on your bike, you can't get up this slope. However, if you're on 4th gear, you can get up the slope with ease. So, alright. So let's head back to Orberg first. Well, I say that as soon as we're here. Alright, so here are the Stunkies that I caught. What is your Hasty, Nature, and Timid? I definitely don't like Timid. Hasty... Ooh, what does that do? I'll have to look up what Hasty does. I'm definitely not looking it up right now. Likes to relax though, which I believe means HP is one of its highest EVs or IVs, which is good because HP is something that the Skuntank line is good at. That still sounds weird. That is plus speed minus defense. I do really want a fast Stunky, but I don't know if I like that minus defense. Well, I think I'm gonna go catch another one. I'll show on screen the one I catch. You will be the apple that never was, and you will go... I've actually been organizing the Pokemon I've been catching here by their dex number, and I do want to get a sort of living shiny dex of every Pokemon I can get. So, apple that never was. I do not believe you can catch Skuntank anywhere in the wild, so I will eventually level up this Stunky off screen in the Skuntank when it is much more convenient for me to do so. And as for the Pokemon I can't catch shiny in the wild, I put them in this one. So that's why I have the Cascoon, Dustox, and now Bronzor. And we will be able to catch Bronzong in the wild later. This was just full of extra... I had a method for what I put in each box. This is full of Pokemon that are actually kind of important and have contributed in some way to the game. Such as Maribel, Chris, the hero, our shiny HM slave, and our Bidoof that sticked with us when I traded away Chimchar on a bad joke. All these shiny Silcoons I went through and one non-shiny Silcoon. I'm keeping the traded Pokemon here and the 2 male Burmy that one of them will join the others here when I evolve it into Mothim. So, we've seen this building, the Orberg Museum, coal mining and Orbor Mining Museum, but we haven't gone in here. In here, you can see a giant block of coal. Whoa, so this is coal? I never expected something this big. I actually have a funny story about coal. So I took a geology class, and we were talking about the definition of a rock, specifically that a rock is a solid thing made of minerals, and we talked about what a mineral is. And one of the key defining factors of a mineral is that it is non-organic. In a chemistry term, as far as I know and understand, that means it does not have carbon anywhere in its atomic structure, or in its atomic makeup. So all the atoms, none of them are carbon atoms. Coal, however, is literally carbon atoms. It's just carbon. I mean, that's a very gross oversimplification, but yes, coal is basically pure carbon. And so I went up to my teacher and said that then by this definition, coal is not a rock. But he goes, no, coal is a rock. And I go, but no, coal is made of carbon, therefore it is organic, therefore it is not a rock. And my teacher goes, I'm not arguing this with you, coal is a rock. And one of the we had to like memorize the properties of a list of rocks, and one of the types of rocks was bituminous coal. And he responded to me saying, technically you can extend a definition of rock to be any solid object that made of minerals that is non-recently living, but by that logic you can make a desk a rock. You can call a desk a rock, so it gets into a bit of a gray zone, but that's just the funny thing I always think of when I see coal. So just remember, Kokomi says coal is not a rock. Don't let them lie to you. Hello, how are you? I study Pokemon fossils. Me, right here and now. You have a fossil for me? Yes. Shall I turn into a Pokemon? I am in the process of extracting your Pokemon from a fossil. You go outside. Yes, please? Now. Time alone is what I need. Now! So in my bag I have 2 skull fossils, so I can still show it. You can see so there's my second skull fossil. But yeah, he just automatically takes, I believe he will ask which fossil you want. You want him to take if you have multiple. I'm not quite sure on that, but we'll be able to tell that in the end of the series. If you literally just go right outside and back in, yeah. And this is our Cranidos. No, but let's take a look at Cranidos. Oh, it's a female Cranidos. I don't think the Q-Charm glitch affects this at all. I think that was pure coincidence. So yeah, that is Cranidos. I do think its Platinum sprite is a little weird where it's like upright. And now I said that, I know editing means going to have to put the Platinum sprite on screen. Why do I make myself do more work? Well, that is Cranidos, and I do want to show one last thing before we end this episode. And that last thing I wanted to show is the item we received, the key item we received from Lucas, the Versus Seeker, which I definitely want to bring up here. So what you can see the Versus Seeker do is we use it and 2 exclamation points came up. Sometimes trainers won't always respond to it, and if 1 exclamation point comes up from a trainer, that means you just haven't fought them yet. Whoa, you startled me. We may as well have a rematch. Not every trainer is rematchable. However, there are some trainers that are not only rematchable, but if you visit them later in the game, their team will have grown in levels, which I think is super cool. And I definitely want to show that at some point. Come back to some of these trainers. Not all trainers you can do a Versus Seeker rematch have that capability, but it's pretty cool. I know the Piplup trainer right before Turn of Forest actually is one of those trainers that will have a Pokemon that grows when you come back, and will eventually have an Empoleon. They generally don't, I don't think there's any Versus Seeker trainer that adds Pokemon to their team. They can just evolve their Pokemon. Oh, sorry if the thing looked So, I want to address this now. I meant to address this at the beginning of the episode. I am so sorry for in episode 13 or whichever one to face the Turnigen and any time after that where there's been stuttery footage. I think I'm trying to set up that makes the DS more stable and I don't move it around as much, because those recordings I didn't have the DS set on anything. I was just holding it in my hand. I think that jiggled the cord a bit, which messed up the video capture. You have to be like specifically not touch the cord. If we try to use it now, number of steps required 94. Yes, it takes 100 steps to fully recharge the Versus Seeker and use it again. 51. So keep going. Of course, this is, you can use your step counter for this, but I am a lazy person. And I can't even. I don't even know if I can get to him, because I think the transition stops that. But I'm actually interested to see if that counts. Oh, not that. It'll be a second. All right. Let's see. The trainer should be. I believe this is the trainer. Considering he's not looking around in circles anymore, yeah. Going through a loading screen or going through some transition does undo the Versus Seeker effect. But yeah, the Versus Seeker is a really cool item. It lets you grind money, especially some trainers later. There are some trainer classes that just specifically pay out more money on average, and then you can Versus Seeker rematch them, essentially battle them over and over and make a lot of money. And yeah. So to wrap up this episode, I hope I showed catching the apple on screen. Actually, I want to talk to you really quick. We hikers are big-hearted guys. Losing doesn't bother us. Well, I'm glad you can take it in stride. There is someone else here usually that talks about this, but I guess not in Diamond and Pearl. But this cave is special, and we'll be... Thanks, game. Not even a cricket tune. So, next time on Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, we'll be exploring this cave. It has more to talk about it than you would think. And I guess we'll talk about Aipom next episode. I will note that I will be using the Versus Seeker off-screen to train other Pokemon like Macaroni and Pachirisu and other Pokemon I want to evolve to help for that Dex thing, but I won't be over-leveling my main team, as I don't like playing through games over-leveled. I think that's kind of boring. I mean, sometimes it can be relaxing to just steamroll through a game over-leveled. I won't knock that, but I like the challenge, you know? And with the Versus Seeker, I can finally train off really competently leveled trainers, and instead of just having to go into wild Pokemon battles, which is super nice. So yeah, I believe that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye.